Hey there everybody, Matthew Armstrong here on day 61 of this 100-day financial freedom challenge. And I'm looking for some unreasonable people to join our team. So if you're an unreasonable person, you want to be clicking on the link below. Yeah, you heard me right. If you're an unreasonable person, click on the link below and join our team, because we are Team Unreasonable. That's what our team's called. We're actually called Team Unreasonable. And you might be thinking, why are you called Team Unreasonable? Surely you want to be reasonable, right? Surely it's better to be a reasonable person than an unreasonable person. Well, let me maybe give you a story, a very, very powerful story. One of the most powerful stories, powerful events and experiences that I've ever had, that shifted my whole life and has helped me make big shifts by superimposing that event onto future events. But I'll get into that. Being an unreasonable person, and this actually got firmed even deeper in myself when I read a quote from George Bernard Shaw. And he wrote something along the lines of, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world, while the unreasonable man goes about adapting the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on an unreasonable man. Now, his quote is something like that. I might be paraphrasing a bit. So he's basically saying that, if you're a reasonable person, you don't really make any changes in the world, because you're going about just trying to fit into various boxes, right? But if you're an unreasonable person, you don't fit into those boxes. You're just going to go, look, I'm just going to create, I'm just going to discover, I'm just going to do things that haven't been done before. And then that creates progress, Because the reasonable person is just trying to stay within this box, just trying to stay within the confines of society, of their programming, right? The unreasonable person isn't doing that. They're just saying, screw all those rules, screw all those programs. Let's do something different. Let's make a shift. Let's make a change. Let's improve things. Let's evolve. Let's just do some crazy, great stuff, right? And that's why different inventions have been made and different progress in society and cultures and things like that have happened because of the unreasonable man. The unreasonable person has changed things, in politics, in social structures. Look at what's the name of the black lady, Martha, someone or other. She's on a bus and she's an unreasonable woman. Black women had to sit at the back of the bus. They weren't allowed to sit anywhere else. But she was unreasonable. She said, no, screw that. I don't care if this is the way it's always been. I'm going to make a change. And she refused to sit at the back of the bus. She put sat at the front with all the white folk. That one thing, that sparked it. That sparked it. Her being unreasonable, that's what sparked it. The bus driver couldn't reason it. He's like, excuse me, look, you're a black woman, but you need to go to the back. No. She was unreasonable, right? Changed America, changed the world, really. Most people know of that story, know of her. Names kind of go for me. Martha, someone or other her name was. No disrespect, but I just don't remember her name. And so for me, I see it as being unreasonable is a great thing. I don't compromise. I don't settle. Even if I don't hit my targets, even if I don't hit my dreams in the short term, I don't lower my sights. I'm just unreasonable. You cannot reason with me. And people have tried. People have tried, and I'm just going to tell you a story right now, because you'll remember it. If I tell you a story, you'll remember it, and you'll always remember it. And there'll be times in your life when people will want you to be reasonable. And by being unreasonable, you will actually break through and succeed, and you will leave people with their jaws on the ground. So very, very quickly. I had asthma most of my life. Most of my childhood, most of my teens, I had asthma. I couldn't run more than a few hundred meters without having to puff on my inhaler. I couldn't even finish the cross-country run in school. Puffing on my inhaler, overdosing on it, puffing on it 9-10 times a day when I was only supposed to take it 3 times. My whole tubes would close up. Literally like that. I couldn't breathe, So when the careers people came into the school and said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to join the Royal Marines. I want to be a commando. I want to do the most difficult and longest infantry training in the world. The most physically demanding training in the world. They kind of looked at me, you've got asthma, right? You can't do that. My teachers said to me, well, you can't do that. I sent in the forms, I said I'm doing it. I didn't tell them I had, I just filled everything in and said I'm doing it. You know, just a dream I had. I wanted to do it. But the circumstances were telling me that I couldn't do it. You know, the unreasonable man, the unreasonable person creates their own circumstances. They adapt the world to themselves instead of adapting themselves to the world. You know, that's what George Bernard Shaw said. And that's what I did. I went to my doctor because I said, you know, what can I do about this? I went to the professionals, I went to the people who thought they knew. And I thought they knew. I went to my doctor said, well, you just can't do it, you know, you've got asthma, you've had it for so many years, it's just not going to go away, right? You know, he says, I can give you some stronger inhalers and things like that, but that's about it. My teacher in school said, you're crazy, you know, you should become a hairdresser or something. You know, what if I listened to him, right? Probably would have been a pretty good hairdresser. Owned a chain of salons, been a millionaire. But hey, you know. Yeah, so my doctor said I shouldn't do it. My teacher said I shouldn't do it. Some of my peers said I shouldn't or couldn't do it. You know, people were laughing behind my back, thinking, how is he ever going to do that? Really, you know, the guy that can't finish the cross-country run in school is going to do commando training and run 30 miles and carrying full kit and do the Tarzan assault course and do the endurance course and, you know, do the 9-mile speed march and do everything else in between that has to be done in order to pass all those tests. 8 months of solid training, intense. How is someone with asthma who can't run a mile without doubling over ever going to do that? But you know what? I could have been reasonable. I could have been reasonable going, okay doctor, you're my doctor, I'm just a teenager, you obviously know. I could have said to my teacher, oh yeah teacher, you know I'll become a hairdresser, or the job I was offered as an apprentice jeweler, that my mother got me this job offer. You know, you don't have to do that, son, you know, you can go and do a good job here. That would have been reasonable, right? Okay, I've got actually a good job here, an apprenticeship as a jeweler. That's pretty reasonable, you know. Now, I could have been very reasonable and done all those things, but I was totally unreasonable. People could not reason with me. No one could reason with me. Because I had a dream, I had a vision, and I was going to do it no matter what the circumstances was. I was completely unreasonable with everyone around me. I was completely unreasonable with myself. I was completely unreasonable with my body. I would not listen to my lungs when my lungs were closing up and telling me I couldn't run anymore. I kept on running. And I said, my mind will overcome my body. My mind will overcome my body. I said, you will open up, lungs. You will open up. And you will allow me to run as long and as far and as fast as I need to run to make this happen. And it was painful. It was very painful. And yes, there were times where I doubled over. There were times when I almost collapsed. There were times when the pain was so much, my lungs were screaming. And I just kept going. I just kept going. I said, one more hill, run up one more hill. Because I was completely unreasonable. And an amazing thing happened. An amazing thing happened. The very day that I got on that plane to fly over to start my commando training, that very day was the last time I needed my inhaler for 4 years. That very day. The next time I needed it was after I handed in my notice to leave the Royal Marines Commandos. After I handed my notice, then I needed my inhaler again. It started to come back again. That is the power of our mind. That is the power of our attitude. That is the power of the unreasonable mind. Get unreasonable. You can change your life. You can change the whole world by being unreasonable. And if you want to join an unreasonable team, then you want to click on the link below. you want to join our team and get unreasonable and create unreasonable results when everyone else around you is saying, oh, you're mad, you're stupid, you should be doing this, not that, you just block it all out. Because when the voice on the inside becomes louder than all the voices on the outside, then that is the beginning of mastering your life.